Good evening, everybody. Good evening, doctor. Oh, good morning, rather, to the doctor.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing? And good evening.
Yeah, so for those on the call, doctor's time is different with ours. Obviously, it's not in the country, it's in Malaysia, and it's, I think, 3 a.m. there in Malaysia, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so
how
guys,
are you doing?
we're good, doctor. So guys, thank you for coming. We're still waiting for more people to join. There's a link to the chat, for those that would want to invite other people to join. I'll drop the link to the Zoom on the chat so that you could just share on your status, WhatsApp, or even on Twitter, Facebook, and other platforms, so that, or even send to individuals would benefit from this session. Because by the looks of it, this is going to be a very super packed session. We're lucky to have the good doctor with us today. So I've sent the link to the Zoom. You can just copy it and share it on your status or with friends, with everybody to join. Meanwhile, it's 8 already, so what we normally do is to wait for some people to join, but of course, it's late over there. So I think, and we were also recording the call. This will be made available to those who perhaps will join late and those who unfortunately won't be able to attend. So once again, welcome everybody. My name is Ahmed Idris. I am the Executive Director at Innovate Lab Innovation and Impact Foundation. So the Innovate Lab project started in 2018 as an innovation hub. We initially started running programs tailored around helping startups and those with innovative ideas with the necessary resources they need to scale and to grow. And then we evolved gradually into a nonprofit organization that's still supporting startups and businesses, but this time around, we're also helping individuals to have a career in technology and also in entrepreneurship. So thank you, Doctor, for being here. I'm going to make a quick introduction about who Dr. Adams Adeiza is for those who don't know. So Dr. Adams has over 15 years experience teaching and doing research in entrepreneurship, innovation, marketing, and corporate strategy across universities in Nigeria and currently in Malaysia. He's an expert in technology, startup development, and business model innovation. Dr. Adams is currently the manager of Executive Education Unit of Malaysia Graduate School of Business and Entrepreneurship. Previously, he was the Director of Global Entrepreneurship Research and Innovation Center, still in Malaysia. And in 2021, Doctor was appointed as the youngest member of the 12-person expert panel that developed a new curriculum for entrepreneurship education in Nigeria. Doctor was also recently certified by Microsoft as an educator and trainer. The certification is a confirmation of his mastery of the 21st century learning design, otherwise called technology literacy for educators. In addition to being an entrepreneur, Dr. Adams has consulted for such organizations as NNPC, UK DFID, which is now known as the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and thousands of other small and medium enterprises in Nigeria. He has also delivered training and skills development projects for and on behalf of Facebook and Google. Dr. Adam has won several national and international awards, including Nigerian Young Manager of the Year, Youth Enterprise with Innovation in Nigeria, (UWIN), which is a grant by the federal government, US State Department Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young Leaders, Young African Leaders. He's currently a senior fellow on trade and digital economy at the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. So that's quite a portfolio. Thank you very much, Doctor, for honoring our invitation. So initially, we were supposed to do this like an Q&A session styles sort of a thing. But before I go ahead, I would love to know if you have a slide. Perhaps we could just, let you just carry on with the slide that you have.
Okay. To start with, thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed, first of all, for inviting me. It's really a big honor. There are thousands and thousands of people you could have invited, and you have been inviting, and you decided to make me one of those. There is nothing about me. I don't know anything, but I don't know. Perhaps you saw something that you thought that we could share. I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful. And secondly, thank you for that very, very kind introduction. Thank you. That's all I can say. Sure, I do have a slide. I prepared a slide. Since you told me, I went into updating my content and of reflecting on my experience. So I put all those together in a slide to share with your audience.
Awesome.
So I think the way I personally prefer a Q&A setting, but I think just to give a context, just to lay the foundation, if you could give me like 15 to 20 minutes, max 30 minutes, I can just run through my slide and then we can break into Q&A.
Yeah, awesome, Doctor. Go ahead. I think that will be lovely. And I love the format, which kind of even will be more informative than just if it was just Q&A. Yeah.
Okay, so let me try and share. Can you make it possible for me to share my slide?
Oh, sorry, I've been on mute. I think you should be able to get the sharing option now.
I still can't.
Okay. All right. Just a second. I think it must be technical glitch. Okay. Just a second, Doctor.
It's all right. No problem. Take your time.
Sorry, it's like I made someone else mistakenly. It's supposed to be you.
Okay. Okay. I think I should be able to share now. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay. So I think you should be seeing my slide now, right?
Yes.
It's gone back again. You disable me again.
Oh, I think it's a technical.
Okay. All right. Can you see my slide now?
Yes, yes.
All right. So again, let me thank you for inviting me to this very important sharing. I personally am a lover of knowledge. I'm a lover of networking, and when it comes to innovation, when it comes to growing a business, one thing that is critical is networking, is continuous learning. So to that extent, I cherish this opportunity to, to network, to share perspective, to learn from each other. I'm not going to be, the only one talking today. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, your perspective as well, so that we can all live here better than we have come. So I think the way I'm going to start is I love to make my sharing my presentation as interactive as possible. And I want to start with a teaser. I just want to ask our audience if they know which is the fastest growing company in the world today or in Nigeria. Hello? Is something happening? Hello?
Yeah, sorry. What?
I can't see my, can you still see my screen?
No, we can't see. Okay, it's back now. So,
Okay.
Mr. Good, there's someone. Okay.
Someone is raising hand. I don't know if
Yeah,
it is that.
someone wants to answer your question. I think Muhammad Rantan. So
Oh
I've
yeah,
unmuted.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Actually, what I want for now, is not a voice response. I just want to engage
Okay.
the participant. You just use the chat box and just use the chat box and put. Okay, somebody say Tesla. Giovanna, thank you so much for flip forward. Affects.
Go through it.
Okay, interesting. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I love the engagement. I really want the discussion to be as interactive as possible. Keep it coming. You never can tell. I might have an award for you at the end of the class today if you get the answer right. Okay, so
Someone
somebody has
said
mentioned.
Flutterwave. Someone said AFAEX. Someone said Tesla.
Uh, Absolutely, absolutely. I've seen all those, and they are quite interesting. We have a lot to talk about those companies later today in our conversation. I wanted participant to participate in this particular chat. I have another question. Fire blogs, nice one. Uh, I just want yes or no to this next question. Who has actually ever run a business in this session? If you have, just type yes. If you have not, I really want you to respond as well. You can just simply write no. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome, awesome. Great. Thank you, guys. So almost everybody here is an entrepreneur. Everybody here has had some experience running a business. My next teaser is, have you ever actually grown a business? Who has ever actually grown a business? Yeah, like taking a business from point A to point B by yes or no. Let's just see what's the percentage. Okay, awesome. No, yes. Nephew Adamu, say yes. Awesome. Love, say yes. Mama Rantan, yes. Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. This is lovely. Now, who can just share, just in one line or in one word, what does it really mean to you to grow a business, to scale a business? In your word, what do you understand by growing a business? What does it mean in your word? Before I share with you what my perspective is, remember I've already told you that I would like to learn from you too. So let me hear what your thoughts are. Business growth. What does it mean to you? Please. Okay. I see your banner say something like passion. Anything else? Anybody else? What does business growth mean to you? Can you just type anything that comes to your mind? When you hear business growth, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? To render a service that help people in the process get money as well. Awesome. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you. Anything else? Anybody else? Please, we would like to hear from you. It's important. Your idea is important. Economic development, increasing customer base. Musa Lawal, thank you for that lovely one. Keep it coming, keep it coming. I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, guys. So I think at this point we can move on. It's all right, revenue and budgeting. Awesome, good one. So let's see. For now, I think thank you all, by the way, for participating. I really want this kind of interaction to continue so that we can get the best out of our interaction today. So today, in the next couple of minutes, I'm looking forward to us discussing what does it really look like growing the business? And I would like us to particularly, anchor that discussion on the role of innovation in growing a business. There are some school of thought that believe that you can't grow a business without innovating and re-innovating it. So innovation is core to business growth. So we're going to take a look at what sort of innovation are we talking about, and how do you actually go about that innovation. Um, Almost everybody, every expert in the space of business growth and innovation also agree with this fundamental truth that you cannot have a company that is relentlessly innovative until there is a culture of innovation. So what makes up that culture? So I would like us to take a look at all these issues so that this brings us to a presentation objective. There are basically three. So it is my hope that by the time we're wrapping up this discussion today, we would have had much deeper understanding as to what business growth is, what path does that growth takes, and what are the cultures, what are the characteristics, of organization that make it easy, or that make it, really, really easy for them to innovate relentlessly. Let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about business growth. And in talking about business growth, the first question we ask, or just going back to my earlier teaser, is what does it really mean to scale up? What does it really mean to grow a business? In my experience, by the way, most of the things I'm going to be sharing today, although I'm a professor, I teach, I share a lot of theories, but I'm also an entrepreneur. So most of the things I'm going to be talking about today are going to be heavy on my experience. Put my dick inside his mouth. Okay, I think once in a while we need something like that. It's okay, no problem. So I'm going to share a lot on my experience along the line, both as an entrepreneur running personal businesses, and also as an entrepreneur, somebody within a corporate organization that have had to initiate innovative projects and see them to the end. So in my understanding, from my own experience, growing a business is nothing more than initiating a progressive change. Is nothing more than ensuring that the condition of the business gets better in many respects. It connotes a positive direction in the affairs of business. The reason why I wouldn't at this point want to give some adjective is that I believe, or from what I've learned, is that we have different categories of people and entrepreneurs in this hall. So for each entrepreneur, for each business, growth means different things. But for now, what I just want us to get is that growth is a positive direction in the affairs of a business. And I can tell you quickly, growth is the lifeblood of every business. A business that exists without growing in a significant way is a business that is about to die, or it's a business that is almost dying. So I'm just sharing this just to sort of give us some understanding, some foundational knowledge as to, or just for us to have a common definition of what we mean by growth, so that we don't get lost when we get into the detailed discussion later on. So growth could take the form of a company opening new outlets. Take, for instance, Chicken Republic opening new outlets in several streets in Kano, at least before I left, because that was a company that was, literally restricted, within the enclave of southern Nigeria for years. But towards 2017, 18, 19, the company started coming up north and opening many outlets in Kano. So growth can take that form. Growth could also take the form of new product introduction. A new product introduction doesn't even have to be entirely brand new product. It could be improvement in the existing ones, just to capture new markets and new possibilities. So growth could also take that form. And growth, just like somebody mentioned earlier on, could take the form of increasing sales and profit. So essentially, this is what growth looks like. So for now, we can leave it at these three: more outlet, producing new products or services, or increasing sales. So now, I just have to say this upfront before we go deeper into the discussion, and it is important, and I know it's something that those of us who have been in this space in on this journey of entrepreneurship are quite familiar with. Growth is a long, challenging exercise. It's not easy. For every growth initiative for every growth project you initiate, you are likely to come across challenges from the business environment. If you operate in a country where the business environment is not as easy, that even constitutes extra challenge for you. That's external. You could also have challenge from within. It is not everybody in your team that will be on board, as early and as energetic as you want them to be. The general conclusion is that growth is not easy, and success is not guaranteed. In fact, I can tell you, for every 10 growth initiatives, 9 are likely to fail. But this is not to scare you. From my experience, when you want to take your business into a new direction, when you want to, open a new outlet, innovate a new product, or try to increase your sales number, what I can tell you, as daunting, as challenging as it is possible. So all you need to do is what you're already doing. You are learning, you are expanding your repertoire of knowledge. And hopefully, if you can take time to plan carefully and do your best to execute as much as you can, you will eventually achieve the success that you are looking for. So for now, let's keep in mind, growth is something desirable. In fact, it is a necessity for every business. If you run a business and you remain in one place, or your employees remain the same number for years, then there is a problem. You need to do something about it. So for now, like I mentioned earlier on, growth and innovation, seem to go hand in hand. But I'm not going to just assume. I want to hear your thoughts. So, is it really possible for an organization to grow without innovating? I really like your thoughts on this. Let's engage with this. Please kindly share your thoughts. What do you think? Yes or no? Is it possible for a company or an organization to grow, given the definition of growth that we have given just now? So is it possible for an organization to grow without innovating? So let me hear your thought, please. Just put in our chat box what you think. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Let's do this. Yes or no? What do you think? Can you really grow a company without innovating? Of course, I know I've not really explained innovation deeply, but I'm sure that we understand what we mean by innovation. Yes, it's possible for business to grow without innovating. I would like to hear more about your thought, Mr. Muhammad Rantan, later on your passionate position that it is possible. Ahmed said, no, you need innovation to grow. Abdul Qadir said, yeah, it depends on the nature of the business. I'm curious. I'd like to know what sort of business require innovation to grow and what sort doesn't. But all along, I mean, all taken, you guys have shared interesting perspective, and I would really like to commend you for this. Thank you for your participation. It depends on the state of the business. It depends on the state of the business. Okay, awesome. So let's see what I have. Let's see what I have. Before I speak about the benefits of innovation-led business, it is critical. I've already actually alluded to it, that growth and innovation go hand in hand. From my experience, taking businesses, small businesses, from one point to another, or initiating new projects, I can almost see that you hardly can do something new, grow a company. You hardly can take a company from one branch to multiple branches. You hardly can take a company from 5 employees to 20 employees without achieving, without investing seriously in innovation. Hello, guys. I think something is happening. Can you see my screen still? Hello?
We can't see your screen, but of course, perhaps you could move a few slides and back. Maybe it's just a technical glitch. If it doesn't work, I'll probably.
What is happening?
Okay, so let me withdraw the host and make you a host back. Probably that should sort it out. Sometimes these glitches do occur.
Okay.
Just
the entire slide has disappeared. Let me reshare.
No, I was a little bit quick on that, so I've made you a host back, so you could just share the screen back.
All right. So this is where we are. So the underlining premise, in fact, I will say that the thinking behind even the topic of this discussion is that innovation is needed for growth. And if we're going to agree with that, I think it is important for us to dissect what innovation really means. Innovation is a huge topic. It's one that if we're to discuss on its own alone, it will take several hours. Innovation is a whole course for a PhD program. So, but what I will do today is just to share some thoughts on the basics of what we mean before I get to the benefits of innovation-led business growth. We need to take a look at what innovation really means. Innovation could either be radical innovation, for instance, something that has never been there before. As of today, we don't have a viable system whereby an individual can fly from one place to another. So that's something that if somebody invents tomorrow is going to be called a radical innovation. Something that was almost totally new, or something that, was just a tiny, thing before. Take telephone, for instance. The first system of phones that we had, I think somebody is Jackson. I don't know who this Jackson is. If you can tell him to kind of.
Okay.
I
think
Jackson
is off. I can't find him. So, but let's go ahead, please. Is
okay.
he having access to the screen?
I don't know how he's doing it. He's making marks on the screen, on the slide. But it's okay. Let's move on. Can I go on?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so this is just to give us a general understanding as to what kind of innovation we're talking about. The kind of innovation we're talking about could be anything from radical innovation, something product services that were not there before 1999, 2020. Telephone was a luxury for most people in Nigeria and in other part of Africa. But from that moment up to today, something that only very few people had before. And even the one they had before was riddled with all sort of inconvenience. So for at that level, at that point, we can say the telephone or GSM was a radical innovation at that point in time. But we could also have incremental innovation. The reason why I have to talk about incremental innovation is that a lot of people make the mistake to think that when you are talking about innovation, you are necessarily talking about something that was never there before. In fact, I can tell you most of the most innovative companies today and have not really come into the market with something completely radical, completely new, completely novel. No, it's more like an improvement on what they have been doing over the years. And and that's what we mean by incremental innovation. Something you improve upon every day by day, improving the system, your product or service, as we'll come to see later on. So incremental innovation is one area why I personally love radical things. I want to see new things, something that is out of this world. But for young entrepreneurs, we don't need to bother our head too much thinking that I have to come up with a market with never before seen kind of product or service. You could do a lot by embracing incremental innovation. Everyday improvement in your system, in your products, in your service delivery can go a long way. And when we can also look at innovation in terms of the form. Are we talking about product innovation? Are we talking about process innovation or service innovation? Product innovation, as I'm sure most of us who already could guess, is about coming to the market with new products or improved, significant improvements in existing one. Process innovation is about how we get things done, how we run our organization. For instance, how do we hire people? How do we motivate people? How do we reward people? There are big rooms for innovation in any of those processes and procedures that organizations use to run their system. And then, of course, we also talk about service innovation. Service innovation essentially is about how we deliver our product, how we get our things across to customers. Do we still rely on, for instance, if you run a restaurant, do you still wait until customers knock at your doors before you can make sales, or do you think about home delivery, for instance? So do you think about things like self-service, or you still have to hire a whole village to deliver a service? Do you adopt technology to make it easy for so this is what we mean by service innovation. So these pieces are necessary so that as we move along, we're all clear as to what we mean by growth, what we mean by innovation. So now let's quickly talk about one other very important type of innovation that not many people are aware of, or many people actually do misunderstand. There is this one we call disruptive innovation. For most of us, when we hear disruptive innovation for the first time, we're necessarily looking at it, or we're necessarily going to be thinking first as one breakthrough technology. Unfortunately, disruptive innovation is not like that. And it's one sort of innovation that organizations, especially startups, especially new technology startups, are using to displace incumbent, large incumbent that have been there for years. So when we talk about disruptive innovation, we're essentially talking about how an organization go about taking a product or service and simplifying those products to make it easy for people that we call non-consumers, people that were not able to use those products before for a number of reasons, including lack of access, including high cost, including lack of skill to use. So let me give us an example, and I'll go back to the GSM example. For most parts of Africa before 1999 and 2000, GSM was some sort of foreign technology, something that was out of reach for many people. But people like Mo Muhammad of Sudan, the owner of um, I think Orange, is it Orange Network or so, O2, some sort of. So they came to Africa with GSM, with new technology that make GSM technology accessible to people that could not access it before. And they not only made it accessible, the cost of getting this product, were reduced dramatically. And for a product or service that was thought to be for elite, to be for highly educated people before, they invented technology that make this so user-friendly, so intuitive. So essentially, when you hear about disruptive innovation, they are talking essentially about these three things, about taking a new product or service and simplifying it in such a way that it reaches good number of consumers, or those that could not afford it, or that could not access it, or that they don't have the skill, to use these products before.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah, go on.
Yep. So we've sorted out the issue. Can you just maybe close this the slide and then reshare it again, so we could just have, so I could just clear this.
All right.
Let me just make it easy. All right, great. So can you reshare it? Perhaps we just want to be sure that it's like someone was kind of playing around, these geeks.
Yeah, I know. It happens. Are we good now?
Yes, we're good. Thank you. Right.
All right. So don't worry, my presentation will be over, so we can break into Q&A. So this is how it works. This is how disruptive innovation. It usually starts with technology, and when I say technology, it doesn't even have to be entirely new technology. Like GSM was never really a completely new technology in the world. The only thing is that it was new to Nigeria and many parts of Africa. So they took this technology, used it to create more access for people, reduce the cost of, taking or consuming the service, and then make it much more intuitive and user-friendly for people that hitherto could not actually access. So at the end of the day, what you have is disruptive. Why is it disruptive? It's disruptive because it displays the big, massive incumbent. You still remember, I'm sure some of us here were still are old enough to remember organization called Nitel before in Nigeria. So those were like big elephant, behemoth. They were just there. They thought, the world is there, that they will be there forever. But by the time companies like MTN, like Econet came on board, they were disrupted. And the way the world of business works is that you are either a disruptor or you will be disrupted. And this is relevant to this conversation. The reason why it's relevant is that innovation is what makes you able to disrupt. And the world of business that we live in today is a constant world of disruption. Constant world of disruption. So you have to constantly figure out a way of disrupting the ecosystem. But if you don't do that, you will be disrupted. Whatever position that you are in today, you cannot hold on to it forever. You cannot hold on to it for life. There are people, as Peter Drucker will say, there are people making a gun as a business right now. They are making a gun, and the gun is going to be used to shoot down businesses like you. And he just wants you to know that that gun is being prepared in your name. Just know that whatever amount of sales that you are making today, overnight, that amount of sales could disappear if you don't invest in your capacity, to keep your customers close, to keep them recommending more people to you, So that's what we mean when we talk about disruptive innovation. So I think it's important that we share it. Now let me get back to why is it even necessary? What are those specific benefits that innovative businesses achieve? There are quite a number. For me, I believe in the mantra that size matters. Size matters in the sense that, if you are big enough, you are able to undertake big projects, and big projects bring more revenue, better reputation, and more profit. Take companies like Amazon. Amazon was a little known small online book distribution company in 1994. But today, when we're talking about behemoth, Amazon is cited as one of the big four, one of the four big companies in US today. But it started very small. But over the years, Amazon and their inspiring, passionate founder, Jeff Bezos, has always understood the importance of size, of growing. They not only grew organically, like from within, they acquire new businesses. They got the size. So it is important if you can and when you can become big, increase in size, and your increase in size could take the form of either new products, new market, more revenue, as we cited earlier on. So when you increase in size, you make more margin, you have much more bargaining power, against suppliers and even customers. You make more money, essentially. So size, people gravitate towards organizations that are big, to be honest with you. There are, for small business owners like some of us, people that are still struggling, there are deals that you cannot even dare to undertake just because of your small size. But compare your situation with organizations that have been there for some time or that are big in size. People have there is this psychology that the bigger you are, the more serious you are. It's a psychology. It may not be true. And it may not be fair, but that's the reality of life. It's just simply telling all of us to do our best to get bigger. Of course, there are risks in getting bigger, and bigger doesn't always mean better. But the psychology of business is that people respect you more, customers respect you more, even investors gravitate towards you if you are really, really big in size. So again, you get positive perception by current and potential employees and investors if your size is increasing, if you are not stagnant, if you are constantly growing and improving in your operation. And lastly, size, business growth help community, help society in many ways. The more businesses grow, the more there are jobs for people. The more employment is being created, the more wealth is being built. So just take, for instance, a company that has only one outlet and has just 5 employees. If that company, embarks on growth initiative to have 2 additional outlets, let's assume that the outlets are going to be of the same size. So that means there will be 10 more jobs for people in that country, in that community. So that's how the larger society, larger community benefit from growing. Now, let's talk about strategic needs for growth. Why do businesses need to worry about growth? You as entrepreneurs here listening to me, why do you even have to waste your time listening to talks on growth? You have to do this because of 3 reasons that we have reduced into 3 C's. These 3: customer satisfaction, competitiveness, corporate survival. Number 1, which to me is the most important, for you to keep satisfying customers, you need to demonstrate that you are serious. You know what you are doing. You can't remain stagnant, remain in one place, keep selling one and the same boring product and expect customers to stay. Customers like to experiment with options. So to keep satisfying your customers, and also I must mention, customers' tastes keep changing every minute. Customers' expectations keep changing. So in order to keep up with this changing expectation, you need to give them new products. You need to give them new offers. You need to show them that you are here to satisfy them. That you have the capacity, you have the zeal to grow and make this business continue to be relevant to them. And I must also point out that because of the fact that customers are it's becoming increasingly difficult to get new customers. In fact, some research show that it costs business organizations 16 times more to get new customers. So because of this reality, you need to innovate, you need to grow to satisfy the existing ones that you have. So you don't have to go spending more money trying to acquire new customers. The second strategic reason for growing a business innovatively, for that matter, is to meet up with the competitive pressure. Competition in every industry and in all markets today is so intense. It's so intense that you can't afford not to raise your game. And how do you raise your game? You raise your game by coming up with new products, new service, new offering, new way of delivering your products, new way of running your process, your system. So these are the things that will make you to be able to compete, to do well, to stay relevant, to have an edge over your competitors. And finally, is corporate survival. This is a no-brainer. If you don't grow, you die. It's as simple as that. If you don't move, you cease to exist. So because of these three reasons, customer satisfaction, competitiveness, corporate survival, organizations need to constantly figure out ways of growing. And talking about growth, what sort of growth are we looking at? We've already just talked about this briefly earlier on, but I think it's important, since it's the central issue in this discussion, it's important for us to quickly revisit it before we wrap up as to what are the different options for growth. What are the paths? How do you approach it? When it comes to this, there is a wonderful model out there called ANSOF model that gives organizations and entrepreneurs a kind of framework, a kind of way of looking at different options for growing. And this framework looks like this. It's a juxtaposition of market and product. So according to ANSOF, organizations can grow in four directions by juxtaposing market and product. Organizations can grow by simply selling existing products in existing market, which is the first option here. I will expand this to share more detail. So also organizations can grow by simply offering the same product in new markets. And the third direction is that organizations can grow by simply innovating new products, entirely new products, and selling in the same market. So again, I will share more detail. Let me expand this and share with us what we mean by this. When it comes to the first option, which is what we call market penetration, which is essentially companies selling the same product within the same market. And some people may be wondering, where is the growth in that? There are ways to do this. So if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the strength to go to new markets or to innovate new products, there are some smart things you could do to increase your sales, to increase your profit. And what are those smart things? Number one, you can encourage your customers to buy more of the same product. And organizations have actually implemented this to later. Take all these detergent companies. They come up with new jumbo sizes every day. family size, economy size. So all those gimmicks are meant to get you to buy more. Of course, they give you incentive. If you buy jumbo size, you get it at a much more cheaper rate compared to if you're buying small sizes. Take in noodle, Indomie, for instance. Indomie moved from small size to large size to hungry man size to all those different sizes. Essentially packing many units into one and giving customers incentive to try to buy. So that's what you do when you want to penetrate the market. So and you see that in that kind of example, companies are not selling to new market. They are using the same product and putting that same product in the existing market. By simply relying on tactics like getting customers to buy more frequently, or getting customers to use the same product for different purpose. Now, the second option is market development. Sometimes, it is a market might have become saturated with the same product that you are giving them. So you may have to explore new markets. And new markets doesn't have to necessarily be new location. It could be new set of people. You were selling to only students before. How about you explore selling to their lecturers? You're selling to only market women before. How about you explore selling to civil servants? So in the trajectory of growth, in the path to growth, market development offer serious potential for businesses to grow rapidly. So of course, it usually takes the form of new geographical outlet, but like I said, it doesn't have to be new places. It could be, you can use the market psychographic characteristics like income, like education level, like age group, to segment the market and target new ones. So a good example again is Chicken Republic opening outlets in different locations. So now the third option for growth or path to growth is product development. Eventually, you have to. The reality is that some products go out of fashion. Some product becomes stale, becomes not too exciting to customers. So you need to get your acts together. You need to invest in R&D and develop new products. I need to also quickly mention, it doesn't even have to necessarily be brand new product. It could be improvement in existing business, in existing product. And this improvement could come in various forms. It could be improvements in the packaging. It could be improvements in the food, in the quality. It could be improvements in the shape, in the way it is presented. So what is important is that there is something new about the product that will inspire customers to try it more. So organizations take the idea of maybe of this product development idea by looking at bringing different sizes, different versions, different packages, even different colors, because the reality is that we all don't like the same color. My favorite color is sky blue. I'm not sure Abdul's favorite color is sky blue. So organizations could look at product development from the angle of giving customers different options and different versions, such that they can capture different market. A good example, of course, of product improvement or product development is Apple, never-ending version of iPhone. So from iPhone 1 to 2 to 3 to where we are today, iPhone 13s, So this is what we're talking about. And as you improve, as you for this particular path to grow, for me, this is the most most significant path, most consequential path to grow. Because for this path, you are spending significant amount of money, and the risk involved is high. but it's one path that you are sure to generate a lot more revenue if you're able to hold on. Just imagine Apple today. Whenever Apple announce new version of products, people are queuing up at Apple Store waiting for new release of iPhone. So I think the vision of every entrepreneur is to get to that point where customers queue up, waiting for your product, that are yet to even be in the market. Our time is running. Let me quickly run through finally, organizations can explore growth in areas that are even completely unrelated to what they are currently doing. So you can do this in two ways. You can integrate backward or forward. Integrate backward or forward, you're looking at it from the perspective of value chain. If you are into agriculture, for instance, and if what you do is produce broilers, if you're producing broilers, who says you cannot start manufacturing your own broiler feeds? As somebody that had experience in that space, I can tell you, by growing backward in the sense back to the input, the source of input that you make. The day I started producing my feed, my meal, of course, it was challenging, it was stressful. By the end of the day, I saved money. I made more money. I was able to, to make more profit. Or you can integrate forward. So I was selling chicken. What I did, I was producing broilers. What I used to do was I just pack the chickens and go to Taroni Market in Kano. Those of you who are very familiar with Kano, that's where the middleman, the guy that actually sells to final consumers, and those guys are very powerful, very powerful. They dictate the price for you. They even tell you when they will pay you. But I got tired of all that. I got frustrated. So I had to set up my own shop where I simply move my broilers from my farm to my store, to my own store. So it's a form of growth that you could explore. But this one is still kind of related because we're still talking about agriculture. But organizations grow by even diversifying to completely unrelated space. When you hear Google that is known as the world's top search engine, going into self-driving car, for instance. Self-driving car has nothing in common with search engine, with search. So that's a completely unrelated sort of, growth trajectory. Amazon was known for books, but Amazon decided to buy Zappos that's so that's completely unrelated. And so as a small business, you could also explore things like that. And what I usually tell young entrepreneurs is that some of the smallest, commonest, unrelated diversification that you could do, which in a way is still related, is to think about complementary to your product. If you are selling wares, for instance, it will make a lot of sense for you. If you are selling dresses, it will make a lot of sense for you to also start selling shoes, start selling bags, So if you're selling dresses, it will make a lot of sense for you to have beside your shop, maybe a tailoring unit where customers, once they buy your dresses, they can just move into, the next store, which is owned by yourself. So think about complementary, things that invent your own product and diversify into it. You can make a lot of returns, income, doing that. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the path to business growth is concerned. So we're coming to the end of my presentation, so we can break. I didn't know it was going to take this long. So the thing is, with all these ideas, I can tell you there is still a big problem that organizations need to overcome in order to grow innovatively and in a sustainable way. What is that problem? So this middle-aged man runs a company. And he has heard that it's important to grow and it's important to innovate. And he has listened to all these ideas. And now I'm telling him there is one big problem that needs to be overcome. So what is that problem? He's interested. And the problem is this. So this guy hired well versed, understand the need to grow, but there is a bridge this lady needs to cross to move this company to grow, in a sustainable way. That is a big bridge. As far as growing a company innovatively is concerned. And what is that bridge? It is innovation culture. So we can talk about innovation and growth, all we can from today to eternity. If there is no, well-rooted culture of innovation in a particular company, you will fail. You will not get the kind of results that we're talking about. So we talked about the importance of the need for organizations to grow and why innovation is important to grow. But there is something that is important for innovation to happen, and that's the right culture. The right culture. So I'll share with you from my experience, what are those things that make up innovation culture? Number one is the kind of people that you hire. So if you want to develop an innovation culture, you hire innovators. You hire people that at least that it starts from there. It starts from the entry point when people come into your company. So you need to take your time to hire people that are ready to challenge status quo, not people that are always thinking about playing safe. When you are interviewing people that you want to bring into your company, you need to go down the lane, check them out, do your due diligence, and be sure that these people actually have a history of doing things new, a history of taking the roads less traveled, and be blocking all your attempts to grow, to innovate. So it begins from there. So the culture of innovation begins from when people join your company. Make sure the people that are joining are people that are thinking innovatively. The next thing is, uh, a culture of innovation is characterized by relentless experiment. Experiment is how discoveries are made. So if you want to develop your innovation muscle, you must encourage, you must, as a leader of the company, you must lead by example. Get your people to experiment with new ideas. If somebody is suggesting new ideas, instead of putting committees together that will have endless meetings and endless discussion, jump into action. They test things. Test things in a small, limited way. So entrepreneurs are people that design different experiments so that they can fail early, fail quickly, and fail cheaply. So if you want to develop this all important innovation culture, you need to establish the culture of the subculture of experimentation. And you need to provide your people with resources to experiment with, to experiment. And one of the resources, when I say resources, some of you may be thinking about money or some expensive machine. No, one of the resources that people need for experimentation is to know that you, the CEO, the boss, you are on board. They get your ear, they get your approval to try things out and see how it works. Let's take, for instance, one of the employees come up with a new idea to serve customers better. So that employee, one of the things that employee needs immediately is for you to listen. You are listening. You are not going to shut the idea down immediately. And that, the employee will know that he or she will have your backing to try this idea. It doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to be successful. But it is important that new things, ideas are being tried out on a regular basis. If you see the most innovative companies, one of their characteristics is that they run more experiments than average company. They try new things out than ordinary, less innovative company. So experimentation is key. One of the other thing that constitutes innovative culture is that the company is run in such a way that people willingly disagree without anybody feeling bad, without anybody's ego being wounded. So if you want to build a culture of innovation, you need to lead by example. You need to encourage your subordinates, your team members, to criticize you, to disagree with you. You shouldn't run a company, you shouldn't be a boss where everybody says yes to. If you're the leader, you're the boss, and every Dick and Harry is always in agreement with you, you are in trouble. Your company can never be innovative. So create an atmosphere where people feel safe, in fact, feel compelled to disagree with you. So Amazon, Jeff Bezos, have this famous saying that the formula for their innovation is pretty simple. Somebody comes up with a new idea. Somebody gives reason why it cannot work. And then at the end of the day, they put the two of them together. Somebody comes up with an idea as to how to address the reasons why it cannot work. It's that simple. Somebody comes up with an idea, somebody gives reason. In fact, sometimes they actually have opposite teams. One team is there to give idea, the other team is there to criticize, share reason why it cannot work. At the end of the day, they all put heads together to figure out how to deal with the reason why people feel it cannot work. That's their formula for innovation. And that formula is working because there is a culture of constructive disagreement. People are free and safe to disagree. If you can have this, then the culture is taking shape. Next is encourage candor. I think I mentioned a little bit about this. Candor means courage to speak up, courage to say what is in your mind. You cannot have an innovation culture if people are afraid to talk, if people are afraid to challenge, if people are afraid to ask questions. Innovative companies are companies where people ask all sort of questions. Dumb, useless, childish questions. They are all welcome. So as entrepreneurs and founders, as I'm aware, to build your company as a very highly innovative one, encourage people to ask why, why not? Why can't we do it this way? Why do we have to always, we have been doing it this way? Why can't we do it this way? What if we try it this way? So these are essential. So moving on, next one is tolerate mistake. We've said all this, experimentation, courage. It is important that people have some certainty. One of the reasons people don't come up with new ideas is that they are afraid of retribution. They are afraid of ridicule. They are afraid that they might lose their jobs if they make mistakes. But I can tell you, new things don't happen. Innovation don't happen when people don't try and make mistakes. In fact, studies have shown that of every 10 new innovation projects, 9 will fail. 9 will fail, but you don't know which one will succeed eventually. So that's why you need to keep encouraging people to try. You need to tolerate mistakes. Some innovation projects are going to fail, for sure. They're going to fail. But it's important, if you really want to get to that 10% that succeed, you need to tolerate misadventure. You need to tolerate failure. You need to know that failure is part of the journey to success. So your people, your team members need to have your back. You must not be a boss that throw them under the bus. when they try something new and they fail. They need to have that assurance from you that they have your back. I mean, that you have their back, that they will do their best to be careful, but that in case anything goes wrong, you're not going to throw them under the bus. You will support them. You will make a case for them. You will stand by them. Moving on. Next is recognize and reward risk-taking. One of the best, fastest way to encourage everybody to be innovative is to publicly and privately reward people that are taking action. Innovation is not necessarily about intelligence, high intelligence per se. It's about behavior. It's about action. So one of the ways to stimulate that kind of action is to recognize and reward people that are already doing it. If you do this consistently in public, in private, in WhatsApp group, somebody comes up with new idea, you don't keep quiet. You recognize, even if you don't, if you're not going to move forward with the idea, but at least recognize that somebody is making contribution. Somebody takes new risk. Somebody takes initiative to do something without being told. Whether it works out or it doesn't work out, that individual deserves recognition, because that's what you need for the culture to take shape. And I think finally, innovation hates bureaucracy. So you have to kill it. You cannot innovate if employees have to go through 10 levels, 10 layers of approval to move forward with their new idea. So innovative companies are companies that are organized around small autonomous teams that have the power to decide, to run things, to run the show without having to wait for several days of approval or to go through the bureaucracy, to go through several channels of approval. So if you want to really innovate relentlessly, you can even move it down to team of one. Team of one, empower employees to do what is right, what is needed to move the company forward, to make the company innovative at any point in time. Empower them, give them the resources, give them the authority. In fact, encourage them to seek approval after taking action. Because one of the things that kill innovation is that, people have to wait and wait for approval. So that's why the best of employees are people that there is this popular saying that it's better you ask for forgiveness than to wait endlessly, for permission. So innovative people, innovative minds are people that are willing to ask for forgiveness for taking action. They are people that prioritize asking for forgiveness later than asking for permission. Of course, there are sensitive things that employees and team members have to seek permission for before they do. But when it comes to innovation, doing common things, new things that improve the system, please create an atmosphere, a culture where people feel that it is okay. It is okay to just go ahead and do what is right. Do the right thing for the company. You can ask for forgiveness if you fail eventually. So guys, this what I've just shared are from my experience, from my my years of running team. In my current role as the manager of the executive education program of my business school, there are so many projects that we'll have to do. New projects, to be precise. These are some of the ideas that I've used. But I've also read quite a number of, I can tell you quickly, and I believe that the mere fact that you signed up for this training show that you are somebody that cares about learning. So I want you to take that learning to the next level. You have to develop your reading culture. The best executives, think about Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. These are also the most widely read executives. They read like hell. So you have to develop your culture of reading. One of the books that of all time, one of innovation book of all time that I cherish, that I know will help you a lot in shaping, developing your innovation muscle, is this book that you can see on the slide. I have my copy here. This is my copy of the book. There are many more that I would like to introduce. In this book, the authors share 5 skills that all innovators have in common. The associating skill is skill of connecting the dot, connecting the unrelated, connecting things, and many wonderful innovations have come up in this way, from iPhone to iPod to iPad. So for instance, iPad is a merger of of different ideas that we could have a device that is not necessarily a big laptop. It's also not necessarily a small phone, but something that is in the middle. That provide better experience for people to read, to browse the internet, and so on and so forth. You can see that's the combination of different ideas. That's association skill, questioning skill, which I mentioned earlier on, correspond to my own experience that I shared, just now. So skill of asking questions. Why not? What if? Observation skill. Innovators are people that are constantly, observing their environment. They have high level of awareness as to where they operate. Every day they drive past, they try to make sense. They sometimes park by the roadside and observe keenly. They don't just move through the day without taking time to reflect on things, on what they see, on how people behave. So observation is, if you want to be innovative, and I want to say this here and now, for those of us that are really listening well, these 5 skills are just so key. But this observation skill is one thing you can try even today, even before you sleep. So as you step out of your house, look around your environment and try to see all those things that you, either a new house, a walkway, or imagine what those things are. Imagine how better they could be. They could be laid. Imagine what other ways that they could be remodeled to make them more useful to people. Next is networking skill. Innovators are people that network widely because they need to tap on other people's ideas, on other people's experience to make sense of their world and come up with something new. So networking is one very, very hugely important skill that we all need to develop as business people. If I were you, this lecture that we're having, what I do is when I go into lectures like this, I want to make sure that out of 100 people, I make friends with at least 5 new people before I leave. So as I can see, we're about 11 here now. Those of us who are very smart will not leave here until they become friends with at least one person they didn't know before. Before you know what's happening, that's that one person you made friends with. There are a lot of things, a lot of possibilities that could come out of it. Experimenting skill is something I've discussed while sharing my personal experience. It's so hugely important that people try new ideas, try things out and see how they work. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have for us today. Frankly, I didn't know that it's going to take us this long, but it's okay. I hope the sharing has been worthwhile. And so we can now break into Q&A now so that we can have a deeper conversation and see what we can make out of it. Thank you, Abdul. This is my presentation.
All right, thank you, Doctor. This has been really insightful. There's just a lot of, it's packed with too much knowledge that I just felt you should just go on and continue with the session. But of course, time is against us. We only have 1 hour, 30 minutes allotted for this session, and we've spent 1 hour and 80 minutes already. So we'll try and use the rest of the 12 minutes for the Q&A. Please, can you guys just drop an emoji, a thank you, a thumbs up, or a clap emoji in the chat, just, to show appreciation for, the good doctor. Meanwhile, doctor, I just feel like you've said almost all the things I wrote down to ask you have been answered. So I think what I'll do now is to try and see how I can ask you questions that are outside. Although, of course, if you have a question, please just raise your hand. So I'll meet you. I think, we should give those in the group the opportunity, in the meeting rather, the opportunity to first start asking a question. Okay, doctor, they've been sending messages in the chat box. Okay. Also, if you don't feel like talking, you can just send a message in the chat box. Also, but if you do want to speak, please just raise up your hand. We'll unmute you so that you could ask doctor a question. And if you don't have a question, I think I'll just go ahead and ask doctor some questions while waiting for you to decide, the nature of the question that you want to ask. So, doctor, you've talked about a lot of things, mostly a lot of strategies, a lot of ways that people could innovate. I'm looking at the context of Africa, and to take. I'm glad you mentioned technology as part of some of the examples that you cited, some of these companies. Now, to take a look at how the northern region. I'm glad you've lived in Kano and you know what it means. And the kind of sort of society, the northern region is. So what do you think will be, of course, on top of my head, I know that some of the challenges for innovation include social-cultural beliefs, which hinders a lot of these technologies. Also, there's a literacy challenge, which it doesn't really mean illiteracy, it means literacy. People will probably, someone can read, but not English. They can read Arabic or Hausa language. So, but what do you think are some of the challenges that will hinder technology adoption, especially the likes of solutions that leverage technology to solve problems in health, in finance, and a host of other industries that the northern region will benefit? What do you think could be these innovation barriers and how we could overcome them? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul. That's a very good question. And coincidentally, before I left the UK, one of the courses I was teaching was technology entrepreneurship. And one of the most important topic that I always look forward to sharing is the challenges confronting the ecosystem. And coincidentally, that was a project, a research project sponsored by Google, but undertaken by Ventures Platform. I'm sure you know Ventures Platform in Abuja, right? And they came up with seven obstacles, 7 factors that are constraining the growth of technology or adoption of technological innovation in Nigeria, but particularly in northern Nigeria. Number 1 is skill shortage. If you talk to as somebody that runs an innovation hub, I'm sure you agree with me that sometimes it's just so difficult to have the right set of people with the right knowledge, the right skill to undertake certain projects. So if we really hope to develop our capacity, to take advantage of the promise of technology. So we need to educate more of our people. We need to educate and get the right skill, get our people to acquire the right skill. I'm being careful because I don't want to just transfer all the responsibility to government and authority. I think individuals like us have a big responsibility, a big role to play. I've always been the one that believed that, yes, government can support, government can create the right environment, but ultimately it is up to individuals to take action to improve their condition. So skill is number one. Skill development is number one challenge that needs to be overcome in order to get our part of the country, northern Nigeria, to leverage the power or the advantage of technology. Apart from skill development is lack of champion. There are very few champions. Although if you go down south, of course, the situation is changing rapidly. Thanks to people like yourself and your colleagues that are taking it upon themselves to create awareness, to provide resources for people that have ideas to come over and learn more about new technology. But I can still tell you, there are not many role models that younger people could look up to. I mean, in northern Nigeria, could look up to and say, if this guy is doing it well and is achieving results in what he's doing, I too can do it. I too can do it. So then role model. Then the next one is lack of resources, lack of finance. Sorry, just a minute. All right. So lack of support, essentially, lack of support in terms of money, in terms of this, So if you look at what is happening in other part of the world, and even in other part of Nigeria, you see state governments establishing innovation park. You see state governments establishing technology park and providing resources and even grants for citizens that have ideas that want to explore, new frontiers. But you don't find things like that in the northern part of Nigeria. They have only very few states like Kaduna State that take, technology development, skill development to a level, that is just so uncomparable with, other states within the zone. So we don't have that kind of support. We don't have that kind of, government, public sector support for technology development as it should. So I can go on and on, so that there is also the problem of lack of necessary resources, infrastructure, technological infrastructure. There are still part of northern Nigeria today that you don't find, unfortunately, it's a reality because in the course of my work, especially for UK aid, so I've had cause to go to some part of, of the region where you don't find telecommunication network. As simple as that. You don't find how can people take advantage of the internet to learn, to read, to explore the world? So these are some of the key factors. Perhaps I could share the report of that research with you and your colleagues, to read more about the challenges, the things that are really confronting the northern Nigeria in particular in terms of leveraging the power of technology, to move forward, to grow. It is my hope that with this kind of conversation, we will not just be citing the problem. We will also be talking about the solution, what we can do within our power, within our space to change the narrative for the region. Yeah.
That was super packed, Doctor. And we are honestly looking forward to having the resources. Wow, there's a huge question. I don't know if it's a question. Let me see if I can read it. Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Adams Adeiza. I've started a project with you, then all of a sudden you traveled to Malaysia. And since then I couldn't contact you, but we really need you. That's why I'm so happy that I saw this opportunity to hear from you. So thank you very much, sir. My question is, how can a program like this be provided to people like us? I know there are so many people that will want to participate. It can be like a micro degree on entrepreneurship online. Muhammad Abdullah Rantan, who is a computer science graduate from UK, currently working with Alpha Computers Services. He's the lead ICT consultant for Gombe State. So I think I'm not sure about the online degree. I'm not okay. So I know you know doctor from the past. I think that's between you and doctor. But we do have something for entrepreneurs. Actually, we're trying to put together resources, and we'll definitely even invite doctor in the future. Perhaps for even maybe bring him back, sponsor him for a couple of days back in Nigeria, so that he could come and talk to us. But we're also like more like, we're not really a baby organization, but we are, there are a lot of work in the pipeline to see that most of the things doctors have discussed today, about the lack of skills gap, is one of our key priority. We're also working, with some partners to see how we could set up, like a physical space so that we could provide some of these resources to budding entrepreneurs and technology innovators. In fact, Doctor, perhaps you could say a few words about what Mr. Abdullahi, Muhammad Abdullahi asked.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. I'm so happy you are here, Mohammed. I mean, you are. First of all, I need to apologize to you personally. I should have been a better. I should have been a better mentor or a better support. You have. I know you very well, and I like your consistency. I like your tenacity. You've tried to reach out to me a couple of times. Unfortunately, I've not been able to. It usually, I don't want to give excuses. I've not been able to respond to you as much as I wish. But the fact that you are here today shows to me, I've always known this, that you are a tenacious person. And I can't wait to see you at the top with the kind of attitude that you have. I know you will go places. So please, Muhammad, I'm still very much interested in working with you. And I know that there's a lot that we can do together. So this guy is one of World War, really was one of those very few students back then that had concrete project that he wanted to do. But like he said, unfortunately, I had to leave the country. We couldn't see the project to fruition. But I'm happy you have been keeping on. And so please kindly reach out again, or I should be the one to. I'll definitely reach out to you so that we can pick up from where we start. I'm still pretty busy now, but I should be able to accommodate us with technology. We should be able to do something together. Again, thank you so much, Mohammed Rantan. I'm happy you're here. I would like to really see your face. Your video is not on. It's been a while, so it would be nice to see you and catch up after a very long time. So for sure, Mohammed, don't worry, we'll definitely connect and pick up from where we start.
Okay, great. And thank you, Doctor, for that response. Someone is asking if Starlink will be able to sell in the north, due to lack of internet. I'm not sure about. Okay, Doctor, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Giovanna, for that very, very good, thoughtful question. Shows that you are highly aware. You know what's up. You know what is happening around the world. Yes, Elon Musk Starlink has been given the license to operate in Nigeria. And the day I heard the news, I jumped celebrating because I know how much impact that is going to make, especially to the region. So to your question, will it sell around? The thing is that Starlink is going to democratize internet provision. It's going to bring the cost to almost zero. So I'm saying it because I know how far this has been in other country. Neighboring country to me here is Indonesia. Starlink has, to a very large extent, due to the service they provide. So it's going to be the issue of selling. I think is not going to be there. That's not even going to be a question. I think the question I think we should be asking now is how do we get our people to leverage this huge opportunity coming our way? So with internet, it's going to be easy for people to educate themselves. It's going to be easy for people to acquire new skills. It's going to be easy for people to improve themselves, improve their marketability, their ability to earn. So how do we get people to move from this current focus on just consuming, just creating a social media accounts and wasting your time, and actually using the platform to be productive, to improve yourself? So I think that's the conversation. So my brother or my sister, I don't know whether you're a guy, lady, I think you shouldn't worry too much about the sources of Starlink or the pricing system. I think what we should worry about, no, the pricing is not going to be a factor. I can tell you it's going to be far cheaper than what is being offered by existing providers. So I can tell you that it's going to be far cheaper. Thank you, my guy. It's going to be far cheaper. Starlink is going to be far cheaper than what is being. In fact, the existing providers are already G3. They're already scared that this is going to, make a negative dent on their business, as it were. So pricing is not going to be an issue. So again, I think what Ahmed and all of us should be talking about is how do we really get our people to leverage this opportunity that is coming our way to become better, to improve ourselves as individuals, to acquire new skills, to prepare ourselves to do well, to integrate into the globe, as it were, so we can take advantage of what technology is offering. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everybody. We've already, surpassed the time that we've allotted for the session with about 5 minutes. But of course, this is very interactive, very, very insightful conversations we'll be having with the doctor. And like I said, we're definitely going to, be involved with him in the future. We as an organization are very keen into all of what Doctor has spoken today. We are ready to take the bull by the horn, and we are very hopeful of the support from people like him and all other stakeholders in the ecosystem. So thank you very much, Doctor, for joining in. The recording is available. We have a learning management system where we are going to post the recording. You can always request for access. So what you should do is I'm going to type in our official email address, so you could always reach out to us if you need any the recording or even any more information about our programs and all others.
Okay, I can hear now. I changed my microphone.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what you missed, Doctor. Did you miss anything?
I didn't miss much. No,
Allah. Okay. All right, good then. So thank you very much, Doctor. It's really a pleasure to host you and to have you give us this discussion. We really do appreciate it. Would you like to say a final word before we close the session?
Well, sure. I would like to say that I would like to, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And I want to thank everybody that has sacrificed their time, precious time, this evening, this morning, my time to be with us. The fact that you came in and you have stayed to the end, it tells a lot about the kind of person you are. You're somebody that cares about personal development, and you're interested in growing. You're interested in, growing not just for yourself, but for your community, your society, for our country. So I'm looking forward to working more with people like you. So this should be first in the series of conversation and engagement that we're going to be having. And I look forward to meeting all of you and learning from you and working together to make our country better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Have a great night. Doctor, sorry for taking you this late into the night. We really do appreciate it. I
It's
must
all
say,
right. At least I can go and catch 1 or 2 hours of
yeah,
sleep.
yeah, just if yeah, of course. Although it's the weekend, so but we do hope that you do have some, a great rest, and hope to see you, next time. Thank you very much.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
You have a
I'll
good time.
send this slide over to you so you can share with whoever is interested.
Yes, yes. We've shared our email for those that would want to get access to the slides or the recording. Please just send an email to hello@innovatelab.org, and I will respond to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I can see somebody asking for my email. I think Abdul, you're free to share my email. Okay.
Okay. All right. I needed to get that permission, and it's good you mentioned that we can. All right then.
Yeah, you should. But I think it's better we use my personal email. That's what you have is my work email. Let me share my personal email. It's easy to get me sometimes on that personal email than my work email because it's set up in such a way that it shows only priority email, which relates to work. Let me just drop my personal Gmail account so anybody that is interested can reach me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my personal Gmail account. Okay, yeah, okay, let me see. Share to everyone. Yeah, that is it. That's it. You have it.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you all.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great
Have a peaceful night. All right.
All right, bye. Take care.
Bye.